What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for NXT review for June 19th, 2019. So, yeah, 6/19/19 right now. So that's what we're going for today. NXT going up there about a little over an hour ago. Getting to catch up NXT usually as I do later than usual, just because of how I'm doing it right now. But NXT off to the races, and we are finally officially on the road to NXT Takeover Toronto. We had a new tournament we had a new tournament, which I hope is going to be a multi-warrior thing, like the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, starting around this time of the year, every single year, going into Takeover Toronto 2. That is going to Takeover SummerSlam weekend every year. So, yes, we have a new tournament. We had the debut of Damian Priest, the former Punishment Martinez, Undisputed Era taking on Matt Riddle, Velveteen Dream, and Tyler Breeze in the main event. And a little bit more. Xylee took on Takara Conti, and I think was just a really... It wasn't a great match. It wasn't a bad match. It was just a really... It just wasn't as good as it could have been, in my opinion. This show was good, as NXT always is. I don't think I've looked at NXT and ever said, man, what a terrible show this is. NXT has always been the savior for Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown used to be the savior for Monday Night Raw, and then we just ease our way into an NXT. Now the way Raw and SmackDown is, we can't wait till Wednesday night gets here so we can watch NXT. The thing is that in October, how are we going to be doing this? Because if Wednesday is the day, and that looks to be the day of AEW wrestling, will Vince McMahon have NXT moved to Thursdays or on to Tuesdays? So it's Raw, NXT, AEW on Wednesdays, and then SmackDown on Fridays. We don't know yet. We'll just have to wait and see how things go. But if AEW goes to TV on Wednesdays, people probably wonder, well, what should that matter? Because a lot of people who watch NXT would probably rather watch something on what will probably give AEW a shot over NXT, because NXT is taped and NXT just can be put on the network, so you can go back later in the night and watch NXT after AEW if you want to. So that is going to be interesting to see if NXT is moved from Wednesdays to Tuesdays instead of on Wednesdays. So we'd have Raw, NXT, then we'd have AEW, and then we'd have a day off, and then we go to SmackDown. I hope it stays on some Wednesdays for the simple fact is, yeah, I could watch it later. The reviews would have to be done differently. I'd probably do both AEW and NXT reviews at the same time, just because I wouldn't compare the two. Maybe I would, who knows, but it would be different because AEW is 2 hours, NXT is 1 hour. That is neither here nor there right now, but just a question to throw out there. Let me know in the comment section. The show started off with the Undisputed Era making their way out to the ring. Cole has the NXT Championship around his waist. He says, I told you so. I told you I was going to go in NXT TakeOver New York and I was going to win the 25 and I was going to win the championship. This is just the beginning. I told you at the end of last year. I'm paraphrasing now because I don't have those down exactly, but he pretty much said at the end of last year, mark my words, by the end of 2019, Undisputed Era is going to have all the gold. And the first step was him winning the NXT Championship from Johnny Gargano, who we did not see on this show at all. I don't know if Johnny Gargano is going to show up at all for this set of tapings, which is the first 4 episodes, or he's going to be held off to the next set of tapings, which was the last 4 episodes they taped last Thursday. But no Gargano tonight. We haven't heard from Gargano since he lost the NXT Championship to Adam Cole. I can't wait to see what happens with Johnny Gargano and how they take this further. He says we're going to be taking over and winning. In the way we will be dealt with. If anyone gets in the way, they will be dealt with. Cole then says that they plan on changing NXT's image, and says maybe we should have the show start off like this every week. And it was the NXT theme, but it was just Undisputed Era, just an entire thing of Undisputed Era clips, a couple new images of them mouthing words "We are not your kind," because that is the theme that we have. And they come back to the thing, after it goes off, and you just see them all getting all giddy, and Cole and O'Reilly's like, guys, it was just a little something I threw together last night. Like, if he could do that, which I know it wasn't him, but if he is that good, the dude needs to be getting paid double time, because he should be running the NXT digital department. Thank you, Kyle chat goes throughout the entire crowd, which I thought was kind of fucking hilarious. Cole reiterates that the stable will have all gold and power in 2019. He says, nobody in the locker room, William Regal, even Triple H, which got a big oh from the crowd. So yeah, crowd definitely just, they had the crowd in the palm of their hands, really. They are supposed to be heels. This is the funny thing, is that Adam Cole and the Undisputed are all supposed to be heels, dick heels. And the crowd just eats everything out. Like, they eat everything. Like, everything that comes out of their mouth, the crowd eats it up. Yeah, when Cole started to talk, there were a couple of dipsticks there booing, but most of it was just completely positive. He does that. They do that video package, and the crowd is like, "Thank you, Kyle." I thought it was funny. So it's just always interesting how you have this faction that is supposed to be borderline heels. They're going to come up to the main roster sometime, and Adam Cole did talk to, I don't remember who it was, but the headline was, Adam Cole doesn't see moving from Raw to SmackDown an improvement. From NXT to Raw and SmackDown as an improvement. I wholeheartedly agree. If I can find the article again, I will have it up for Unscripted this week. We'll talk about it. But I agree with him 100%. SmackDown and Raw are not an upgrade to NXT, it's more of a demotion. And we know that. But definitely funny, he says, nobody in the locker room, William Regal, Triple H could top us. Out comes the Velveteen Dream and says, no one can touch you? I like to touch you. And the crowd just loses their mind again, which I thought was, it's just funny. See, WWE's main roster doesn't know how to do comedy. The NXT brand knows how to do comedy just by having someone say something that would just get everyone busting up laughing. That line right there is like, nobody can touch you? I like to touch you. Just the crowd busted up laughing. I popped for it. I think anybody who thinks something is funny probably popped for that because it was a funny line. The WWE on the main roster does not know how to do comedy right because all Vince McMahon thinks is, oh, shit and poop and farts are funny. Nothing else. Just shit, poop, farts, and pee. It's all funny, good shit. And it's not. This isn't the 1960s. We're all 4-year-olds. Toilet humor is not funny. Velveteen's Dream right there saying, no one can touch you, I like to touch you, was funnier than anything we've seen on Raw or SmackDown all year long. Plain and simple. Other than Heath Slater getting beat up by Drew McIntyre, I don't know why that was funny, but that was funny. I might just be cynical like that. Dream says Cole looks good with the gold, but it would look amazing on him along with his North American Championship. Strongman says, are you serious? Are you serious? You as NXT champion, what is that catchphrase, guys, that he keeps saying? That's really catchy. Oh yeah, dream on. He said he says you don't even deserve to be the North American champion. And then out comes Matt Riddle. He reminds both Strong and Cole he's beaten them both. Cole responds, Riddle has his mouth about things he doesn't know. Riddle interrupts and says he knows he's insanely good looking and a stallion, which, the crowd goes crazy for that. Cole tells him to shut up and says Roll is jealous of him and all the titles he's won because he is a Triple Crown champion. Him and Johnny Gargano are the only two superstars to hold both championships. So there's that. He also reminds Riddle every time he gets a title shot, he drops the ball. He also said you're jealous because Roderick Strong held a championship before you did, for whatever reason. And you should probably go back to Reddit reviews on the internet of Attitude Era wrestlers with the crowd, which the look on Matt Riddle's face was priceless. He had that priceless look, and he tried not to start laughing hysterically because he was just probably because I don't think they script down in NXT, and I doubt they script down in NXT. I'm pretty sure he didn't see that line coming and just wanted to bust up laughing, but he wanted to keep character, and you could just see the look on his face was just classic. Crowd with a huge Goldberg chant because if anyone knows what happened during Super Showdown, Matt Riddle pretty much blasted Goldberg for his carelessness, the stupid spot in the middle of the match where he ran his head into a turnbuckle, which wasn't necessary, busting himself open, gave himself a concussion, probably coming out of the locker room when he hit his head against a door, which he really needs to stop doing. I don't care at all. It makes me look like a badass. It's not something you need to be doing. Breeze comes out and he strolls. Breeze says he doesn't care who's undisputed or who's the best looking, which he says is me, by the way. He says that he cares about his Undisputed Era trying to take credit for building a brand that he built long before any of these idiots were around. Breeze then says he was in the back listening to this while he was talking to Mr. Regal. And Mr. Regal took his suggestion, and tonight it will be Dream, Breeze, and Riddle against any 3 members of the Undisputed Era in the main event. And it's thundering and lightning outside. That's just beautiful. If anyone had read the story, heard the news last week, I know you watched Unscripted last week, I did go over the fact that Kyle O'Reilly is out with a back injury in this set of tapings, and the next set of tapings, which were the day after, he did not wrestle to rest his back. So when we get to Takeover, which I'm assuming he's going to be in a tag team title match, maybe it's a one-on-one match or a triple threat team match, who knows? But they're protecting Kyle O'Reilly right now, and he did not wrestle tonight, so it was definitely Cole, Fish, and Strong in that match. Next week, we will have Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai in a steel cage match, a first for the women's division in NXT. There was they can't say for the first for the women's division overall in WWE, because there's been at least one steel cage match, if I'm correct, back in the Ruthless Aggression era, back when they did the Raw Roulette, when Eric Bischoff first introduced it. I'm pretty sure we had a women's steel cage match between Victoria and Trish Stratus. I could be wrong. But yeah, in NXT, this is the first ever women's steel cage match. I have not seen this match. I did not go to Florida. I've heard this match is outstanding, probably one of the best women's matches in a very long time, probably all year. And it is a steel cage match. Shayna Baszler inside a steel cage, which is what they use in the Octagon or any fighting thing outside of, I think, Pride fighting, which was in the middle of a ring. I can see her being very, very much more dangerous inside a steel cage, and I'm sure Io Shirai knows her way around steel cage as well. I expect brutality in this match, and I can't wait to see what happens. And I don't give a fuck when anyone says, "Oh, it's a steel cage match. That's the way to keep Candice LeRae and the other horsewomen out." That has never stopped people before getting inside of a steel cage. It's kind of ironic that we're going to have Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler this Sunday in a steel cage match, and then 3 days later we're going to have Io Shirai versus Shayna Baszler in a steel cage match. And I hate to say this to Kofi and Dolph Ziggler. I think the women are going to wipe the floor with you guys with the steel cage match. If you put those two side by side, I guarantee you Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler are going to tear the house down, because they're going to have the ability to. Whereas Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler will probably be handicapped and handcuffed and not be able to do everything that they can do in the steel cage. That's going to be absolutely sad. Recap this feud between Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai. Shirai says she wants to become the champion for the entire women's division. Baszler says she loves nothing more than to stomp out the dreams of Io Shirai, because I am the reality in this situation. It might be a great dream for Io Shirai, but I am the reality. Again, I expect brutality next week. I cannot wait. Raul Mendoza versus Damian Priest. I am just going to say this right now. Damian Priest has, I think, the best entrance in NXT right now. It's going to be the best entrance in NXT, then he'll be run up to the main roster in about a year or so, and they'll just kill that entire thing. They killed the Sullivans, they killed Ricochets, they got rid of the lasers, added a pew noise, they killed and severely damaged Aleister Black with that creaking stuff. The entrances help with building your character and making your character feel special. Do not fuck this up. This was badass. This was awesome. I don't know who came up with the entrance themselves, who had part in making this entrance a big thing, but this was awesome. You hear the music play, the lights come up, and then he's just standing there. He points back to the sign, to the Titantron. It did say "Live Forever," I believe, on the sign before it went to black. When it went black, he points back and it says Damian Priest. Walks to the ring, gets into the ring, and he does a couple headbangs, and then points back up top, because they have a thing above them, and it says Damian Priest above there too. And I'm just definitely butchering how his entrance looked. If you want to see his entrance, it is on their Twitter account. NXT actually posted his entrance on the Twitter account. So if you definitely want to check out his thing, if you don't want to go to the network itself or zip through the opening of NXT, why would you do that? Watch the whole show. But if you just want to check out Damian Priest's entrance, Go look for it on NXT's Twitter account. They posted it there. It's definitely fucking awesome. I don't remember him having the tattoo that he has on his back. Did Punishment Martinez, aka Damian Priest, get a back tattoo recently? Because I don't remember him having that tattoo. I'd have to go watch his match with Matt Riddle, but I'm pretty sure that tattoo on his back is fresh and new. But Priest immediately kicks Mendoza to the corner, lands some strikes, forearm drops. Mendoza lands a few punches, gets blocked, gets his ears clapped. Ugh. I've had that happen to me before. It's not fun. It's not fun. And I wasn't even wrestling anybody. Someone just decided to do it because, hey, they thought it was funny. It's not fun. He's able to fight off Priest for a moment. Springboard kick, avoids a clothesline. Springboards over Priest. Spinning back kick and an enziguri lands. Mendoza heads to the top rope, runs the ropes, and lands he actually did a tightrope drop kick. You know, like Undertaker does the old school where he does the tightrope, or Xavier Woods does the tightrope and then the elbow drop. He did a tightrope running drop kick off the top rope to Damian Priest, sending him to the outside. Priest, they focus on Priest's face, and he was furious. Mendoza tries to dive but gets caught in midair and chokeslammed onto the apron. Mendoza tosses him back into the ring with a big spinning kick, and then what looked to me like a reverse crossroads. Instead of taking the superstar to where you pull him one way, he had him in the crossroads position like he was going to do a crossroads, and then scooped him and landed on him with a rolling cutter for the 1, 2, 3, and Damian Priest wins his debut match. Then we go to the back, but Damian Priest, awesome look, awesome fucking music, damn good music, awesome fucking entrance, great stage presence. This guy has money written all over him. I just feel WWE will butcher his character when he comes to the main roster eventually, and it won't even matter. But for now, I'm going to enjoy Damian Priest while he's in NXT. We go to the back to Mr. Regal, who gives us that starting next week, we're going to have the Breakout Tournament. Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, Isaiah Swerve Scott, who is formerly known as Shane Strickland, Cameron Grimes, who is Trevor Lee, Boa, Jordan Miles, Joaquin Wild, who is DJZ, Angel Garza, who was Garza Jr. I don't remember who Dexter Lumis is and Bronson Reed are, but this is going to be fun. Tournaments are great when they're in NXT. Tournaments in WWE's main roster suck. We had that tournament for the United States Championship going into the Royal Rumble last year, which they really fucked up. Made that just a joke. Tournaments on the main roster, and people are like, bring back King of the Ring. Bring back King of the Ring. I would only accept the King of the Ring back, which I think they should rename this the NXT King of the Ring Tournament. But they want to call it the Breakout Tournament. Fine, that's awesome. It gives it a new, fresh take. These guys, DJZ, I know well. Trevor Lee, not so much. I have no idea who else, Shane Strickland, or Garza Jr., or Jordan Miles, Bronson Reed, or Dexter Lumis. But Joaquin Wild, DJZ, I was watching him when he came into TNA Impact Wrestling as the Zima Ion, before he even became DJZ. He had a match with, I can't remember the guy's name, but, shit, I wish I remembered his name. But he did a flip over and landed on the guy's head, broke the guy's neck, and put him out of him, cost him to retire, pretty much, from wrestling. It was a terrible move, and it probably, I think, put him back a little bit, probably because he felt bad for what he did. He was just like one of those things. But he eventually joined up with Robbie E. and Rob Terry, Robbie E. and Robbie T. and became the DJ, and that's where the whole DJZ gimmick came from, was that he became the DJ for Robbie E. and Robbie T's tag team, and then he went on, won the X Division Championship a couple times. I believe him and Trevor Lee or somebody won the tag team championships from LAX last year or the year before that. So I know out of all these guys, I know DJZ or Joaquin Wild more than any of these guys. I've seen him wrestle more. I've seen Cameron Grimes and Trevor Lee wrestle a couple times, and I'd like to see where he goes. I like the name Cameron Grimes. Joaquin Wild would be interesting. Isaiah Swerve Scott, which is strange. Shane Strickland is a cool name. Definitely an awesome name. Bronson Reed, which I know one of the guys in the top bracket is ACH. I have no idea. I don't know anything about ACH. So forgive me if I don't go over him. But I can't wait to see where we go from here for the NXT Breakout Tournament starting next week. Joaquin Wilde and Angel Garza will be on the card next week, along with Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai and the Street Profits versus the Forgotten Sons. So that is next week's show. Cannot wait to see who makes it to the finals. I'm hoping it's going to be Cameron Grimes and Joaquin Wilde, just because I want to see what two Impact Wrestling Avon could do for WWE. Yeah, and it's pouring down heavy out there. I gotta close that window. Yes, this is all live. Ish. I hate this weather. Anyway. Okay, yeah, here we go. They do have it here. Shane Strickland's for Scott. Let's see. ACH is Jordan Miles. Dexter Loomis is Samuel Shaw. Okay, I do know Sam Shaw, too. I forgot about that. I don't remember seeing Sam Shaw with a beard, a mustache. It was just so weird when they showed the picture of him and it was him with a mustache. I know him, too. He was in Impact Wrestling at one time, too. Around the same time, I believe, that DJZ first started Impact. He had that creeper gimmick who had a long sleeve shirt on. He had gloves, black gloves, looked like he was somebody. He was creeping on Christy Hemme at all that time. Then him and, funny enough, Jackson Waco, aka Gunner, had a partnership. He took his sweater off. He had these big tattoos on. He tried to act like these guys were soulmates or something, and then he just fell off the world for a while. So yeah, Shane Strickland, ACH is Jordan Miles. Bronson Reed is Jonah Rock. Humberto Garza Jr., I believe, and Joaquin Wilde, which I have to get used to saying that because Joaquin Phoenix, of course, is going to be the Joker in the new Joker movie. So I guess I should be used to saying Joaquin for Joaquin Phoenix and Joaquin Wilde. It's just so weird. I have a big problem with illiteracy, but yeah, Joaquin Wilde, DJZ, cannot wait. Coming out to you starting next week. Opinion of me again talking about growing up in SoCal, being in a mixed family, Black/Korean, and not being accepted by others during the time in their life because of what happened at the time. The Black and the Koreans were feuding over each other, and she was just pretty much an outcast because she was a mix of both. And that, of course, is just going to be one of those things. If you had a town that had blacks and whites feuding and hate crimes and everything, if a biracial couple of black and white was my sister is married to a black guy and their kid is mixed. So if they lived in that type of area, my nephew would be just one of those people who is outcast. It's just one of those things. It happens in part of the United States. But he said, thanks to that experience, she learned how to be on her own and be a leader. After 10 years in the Indies, she feels that she is ready to take on NXT, protect those who need it, and fight those who need to be fought. Yim calls out the women's champion, Shayna Baszler, and says she is coming for her and calls her a bitch. So, clearly they're setting up Shayna Baszler versus Mia Yim with this video package right here. That is clearly the route they're going. If Shayna Baszler beats Io Shirai next week, which I fully expect them to have Shayna Baszler beat Io Shirai, I would not expect Io Shirai to... I don't expect Shayna Baszler to lose the NXT Women's Championship on a random episode of NXT. Yes, I know Tommaso Ciampa won the NXT Championship on a random episode of NXT last year, but it fit into the story, what the storyline was supposed to be, and ended up becoming what was supposed to be a triple threat match into a last man standing match, and that's where that goes. So clearly, when Shayna Baszler goes to Io Shirai next week, she's going to be going up against Mia Yim. Do I expect Mia Yim to beat Shayna Baszler? No. I honestly don't know who's going to beat Shayna Baszler, but I don't expect it to be Mia Yim. Takeover Toronto versus Xia Li. This match was just... I don't know. They did let you know that the last time we saw these two, and by the way, Takeover Toronto tonight came out with personality. She came out doing the Eddie Guerrero, shaking her arms back and, shaking herself back and forth. She tried to have some kind of, life to her instead of just coming out and bowing and doing the old judo thing where you bow and then just walking to the ring. She came out with a little bit of personality which is always a positive. They shook hands because I guess they were tag team partners the last time we saw them, so they wanted to show a little bit of respect to each other. Conti ends up getting beat by Xia Li in about 5 minutes. Conti turns around, ducks the first kick, which Xia Li went for a kung fu type kick. She ducked the first one, but got her in the square behind the ear on the second one, knocking her out. 1, 2, 3, Xia Li wins in a match that just felt like these two don't mesh well. I don't know, it was just, I'm sitting here and it's like these two were just like really slow, like, it wasn't a slow, methodical, good match, it was like slow, like, they were trying to wrestle each other, but not wrestle each other. They were trying to not hurt each other, I guess, but it was just one of those matches that just felt off. Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, talk about next week's match against the Forgotten Sons and how the grind never stops. Roll past a group of fans while sitting on a car and party it up with some of the fans saying, none of this happens without the fans, and they're absolutely right. Anybody who goes to an event and they get told to shut up and enjoy the product, tell the person who tells you that to go fuck off. None of this shit happens in WWE or NXT without the fans. None of it. Whether Vince McMahon thinks it's all him and everything is his grand idea, he would not be where he is today if it wasn't for me, you, and every other goddamn fan out there. Joaquin Wilde versus Daniel Garza also will be on the first round for the breakout tournament, as I said earlier. Matt Riddle, Velveteen Dream, and Tyler Breeze versus Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Bobby Fish. This was a damn good match. These are 6 of the top tier guys in NXT. This was always going to be a great match. Just these 6 guys, of course with Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano, are the NXT 8. 9 if you want to count Keith Lee, but these are the NXT 8. Because these are the 8 guys who are at the top of the card. Everyone else is practically behind them. Keith Lee, I wish could be at this top right now, but he's not. He will be one day, but right now it's Matt Riddle, Velveteen Dream, Johnny Gargano, Tyler Breeze, Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. Those are your top 8 guys, and they are going to be for a while. Yes, the Street Profits are the tag team champions, but I fully expect them to lose those titles. They're not going to be long-term tag team champions. They got their title win. I fully expect them to lose them at Toronto to whoever they're facing. That's just my feeling on that. The Undisputed Era win this match by having Tyler Breeze looks to fly, but Dream tags in, and he stops. Dream and Breeze are talking and like just arguing because Tyler Breeze was on the roll. Tyler Breeze looked like he was going to win this match for his team. He was just getting into that second gear or that third gear or fourth gear, just ramping it up. Tag. Oh shit, what the fuck is that all about? They're arguing. Adam Cole takes out Matt Riddle. They double super kick Adam Cole. Strong, who tags in at this time, knees Tyler Breeze into Velveteen Dream, picks Velveteen Dream up, hits the end of Heartache, and pins the North American champion. And the winners are the Undisputed Era. But it's a big thing because the Velveteen Dream was pinned by Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, they did have a video go up on their Twitter account after the match, which the Undisputed Era, of course, are just celebrating. And of course, Roderick Strong said, the next time I see him, I face the Velveteen Dream, I will be your new North American champion. Adam Cole says that, boys and girls, is undisputed. And that's your NXT for you. NXT, a good show. Next week's show, I think, is going to be that much better. I love NXT for the fact is they don't just go out there and go bam, bam, bam and give you just the best matches all the time. They give you good matches. Not everything is 5-star or better, stuff like that. I fully expect next week to be one of the best shows of the year. You got the start of the breakout tournament. You got Io Shirai versus Shayna Baszler in a steel cage match. And you got the Street Profits versus the Forgotten Sons. What is there not to like? I said this on Twitter, and I want somebody to argue with me and tell me that otherwise. If I had a choice to give up the WWE Network or give up Raw and SmackDown, I'm giving up Raw and SmackDown. Why? The WWE Network is far more valuable right now in 2019 than Raw and SmackDown combined. You have pay-per-views, you have takeovers, you have classic footage, you have NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live, main event if you want to watch main event. You have so much content, 24 specials, ride-along specials, photo shoot specials, all these specials that they put on the network. The 365, which are going to do one on Alexa Bliss soon. They do so much good stuff. The 24 specials on WrestleMania weekend, on WrestleMania every single January. It's just fucking awesome. I would give up Raw and SmackDown before I gave up NXT, before I gave up the ability to watch NXT, NXT UK if I wanted to, the takeover specials, and pay-per-views if I have to keep up with WWE. Tell me in the comment section. Otherwise, don't like. I want to hear other people's talk of it. Would you give up the network before you gave up? Would you give up Raw and SmackDown before giving up on the WWE network? Because in my opinion, WWE's value right now to me is the network. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Thank you for watching this. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter and Twitch at The France Club, and I will see you guys on Friday for the unfortunate Stomping Grounds predictions, because that show is a dumpster fire. Saturday for Unscripted and Sunday for Stomping Grounds Review. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.